Joining me now to shed some light on the political and fiscal issues at the Ontario Legislature is Jay Goldberg, Interim Ontario Director with the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and David Clement, North American Affairs Manager with the Consumer Choice Centre. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining me today. Always an exciting day to talk about debt. I live in Ontario, so this directly impacts me. And I'd like to learn what the plan is to get us out of this debt. So this might be a very pie-in-the-sky discussion, but we have to seriously have this discussion. So we'll start with you, Jay. $400 billion. Is that true? Are we really at $400 billion in debt?
We are, and actually the number is a lot closer to $430 billion. And this number had just grown exponentially in recent years. And actually, I was preparing a pre-budget submission for the Minister of Finance ahead of the budget. We haven't balanced our budget here in Ontario since 2005. That's before the very first iPhone was released. So that's how long ago it was. And at that time, the debt in this province was only $155 billion. So in a very short period of time, the McGuinty, Wynne, and now Ford governments have gotten us all the way to well over $400 billion. And as you said, we're the most indebted subnational unit in the entire world.
Yeah, this is utterly shocking. You mentioned 2005. I mean, I wasn't even married. I have 5 kids now. I had none of them then. That's a long time ago. And to grow a debt to that degree in such a short period of time is shocking. And maybe I'll ask you this, David. What types of programs contributed to this rising debt?
I mean, I think for the most part, it's just an increase in spending across the board with no real plan in regards to generating economic growth to help pay for it or to increase taxes to help pay for it. There are 2 ways in which the government generates or can generate revenue. It can generate it off of increasing taxes. I would highly suggest, or I would be, I think that Jay and I would probably both be pretty hesitant to that idea. But there is a way to generate tax revenue by stimulating economic growth and then obviously generating revenue off the back of that growth. Unfortunately, in Ontario, we haven't really had that. Right. We haven't seen Ontario kind of become the economic engine that it once was. And although the Ford government has said open for business, that really hasn't translated in terms of concrete policy yet. Will it happen before the election? I'm not sure.
Yeah, so I'm with you. I don't like slogans and gimmicks. I like to see real results. And I recall, as a young woman in the early 2000s in Toronto, we knew Toronto was this, or not Toronto, Ontario rather, that Ontario was this economic engine for the country. And there was a lot of complaining that we gave more than we received back in terms of transfer payments. Yeah, I don't think we're in that position any longer. And I see that there's no real attempt to get us out of there. And I know people say, oh, COVID. But like many other things, COVID simply shone a spotlight on problems. It didn't necessarily create the problem, may have exacerbated it, but we still were in bad shape. 40 seconds to commercial, Jay. What other programs do you think contributed to this huge debt load?
Well, actually, one of the biggest things is just salaries for government employees. Half of the budget in Ontario pre-COVID had to do with salaries for government employees, and they were going up at exponential rates. The number of people on the Sunshine List has increased dramatically. And so if you ever want to actually tackle our fiscal problems here in the province, one of the things you have to look at is all of those government salaries.